Alright guys, what's up? So I'm going to be talking about Ghost Recon Future Soldier, the new Tom Clancy game that just came out 2 weeks ago. Going to be giving you my thoughts on everything like that. So, Ghost Recon's been one of those games, especially Future Soldier. Um, it just kept getting delayed. I think the game was first announced in 2010? 2010 maybe? But we were supposed to get it released, like, I think sometime in 2011, and then that got pushed back to like a later 2011, and now that got pushed back. The game just kept getting pushed back. A lot of people wondering if this game would ever come out. Well, the actual, now that we actually have the game now, people are wondering, is it any good? Here's the thing. Okay, let's start off with the story. The story, the campaign as a whole is a fun ride. In fact, it's a really good campaign. I would say it's the most tactical shooting game I played, and when you can kind of see that when you're playing the campaign is because either playing with four of your friends, because the game does have four-player online co-op all the way through, and or you can play with the AI, and the AI is actually good. It's not like they fail, or it's not like they won't pick you up when you're down. It's a really good AI system. They take cover when they need to. They follow your orders. It's not like they walk into enemies and get seen. They stay back. They listen to you. It's a really good AI system. And the campaign's just an all-around fun ride. It starts out pretty action-packed. It builds you up with this character, this squad, group of characters, who have all just basically are a part of this ghost squad. And they call them this ghost squad because they're supposed to be in there undetected, very top secret, and they're basically the best there is when it comes to military groups and being sent in. They're just known for their 100% guarantee it's going to get done quote. And as you start to kind of grow a relationship with this squad, you get used to you kind of like them, and you build this sort of relationship where you want to make sure that you want to protect your squad mates, and it's kind of like that they have your back and you have theirs as well. It's kind of interesting, the kind of relationship that you kind of form with them, but you do get attached to the characters, and it helps drive the story definitely, which is pretty cool. But the story, it deals with it's Middle East, it's like you would expect a military game to take place. It's by the Middle East, but it doesn't take place solely in the Middle East. You'd go to a variety of different places, and you just would take down, enemies, I guess, like that, but you'd go to Africa, Pakistan, London, near the ladder of the game, and it's just, they do kind of mix up with the environments. It's not like you're there in one spot the whole time, and it's just everything looks the same. They do mix it up, and that helps too, to make sure that the gameplay's varied. But the story, it's a fun ride, all right. And I think that this game should actually be considered being purchased for its story, because it is definitely a great game as story-wise. Graphically, now here's probably the game's biggest fault. We all know the game's been countlessly delayed, and what the developers have done is that as graphics progress better, because a game that came out in 2010 and now a game that comes out now, it kind of progressively gets better, those third-party games. What the developers have done is, you can see this right away, is that they've basically updated the graphics as the time went on. And the environments look great, but the character models are so dated looking. And I'd have to say that because of the graphics, because of the character models, it kind of affected that whole cutscene immersion kind of thing, because you don't see your characters' faces unless you're actually watching a cutscene, but you'll just see them in their uniform. But during the cutscenes and stuff, when they actually show that, the character models just aren't as detailed, and it's kind of like you kind of this distance gets drawn between, okay, I'm playing a game, or I'm actually a part of an experience. It goes for this emotional storyline, as well as this action-based, just in your face, all around combat. and it tackles both of those really nicely at all, but the emotional side is kind of told directly through cutscenes, and it's kind of hard when, you know, your character models, you can see their faces, but they don't really express emotion. You know, it's just they're like blocks, and it's quite frankly, it's embarrassing kind of to watch the cutscenes and see how bad the graphics are. Definitely for this day and age, the environments look fantastic. The trees, the lighting has been updated. You know, the actual core environments look fantastic. It's just those character models during the cutscenes that are the problem. But you know, the actual main gameplay, when you're playing the game, looks good. Okay. Now gameplay. Now here's where Ghost Recon really excels. This is the most intense, action-packed military shooter I have ever played. And in fact, it is my favorite military shooter I have played to date. And the reason I say that is because it goes for that really close-up, in-your-face action. You know, it's pretty cool how they did the camera work, and you can see it's a very interesting and you know, very AAA blockbuster type of style with, you know, that goes on with the camera. When you're running, you can see the camera like kind of lower down to your character's feet, and then your character takes up like kind of this other half of the screen, and then you're running straight. Kind of, you can, you know, kind of see to the side of him. Or when you're switching cover, for instance, you can actually by holding the A button, you can actually switch to a different side of a cover, and you can see as your character runs and just you know, smacks his back against the actual wall, you know, the camera kind of zooms in on him as he does that, and it's just, it never really gets old. Another cool mechanic, and probably my favorite one, is the suppression mode. When an enemy or a group of enemies is firing on you with a really heavy, you know, machine guns and stuff like that, what the camera will do is it will begin to shake and zoom down on your character so that you can't see over cover and what's behind you, and it looks fantastic. You know, because, you know, the point of being suppressed, you know, is that you can't move. You know, you're just there. You just are hoping that, you know, bullets aren't going to hit you, and your character's there, and you can see him struggling and moving, just trying to, you know, look, you know, and see where, you know, he can get a shot in. But it's cool, you know, because the camera zooms in on him during that, and you feel attached to the player that no other game really has giving you that feeling before. You just feel that certain attachment relationship that most other games don't have. You know, it's just that attachment. But they did a fantastic job on the camera work, and it works extremely well, really good in terms of gameplay. It's just an all-around, you know, well-made game when it comes to actual, you know, shooting mechanics and actual gameplay as a whole. You know, a couple bugs, you know, kind of pissed me off. Well, not really pissed me off, but they were annoying. This game doesn't have game-breaking bugs, but what it does have is pop in texture, and a lot of pop in texture. I mean, there's pop in texture during cutscenes. There's pop in texture during just core gameplay. Sometimes you'll aim at a guy who's like standing on top of this weird you know, sniping position, and all of a sudden, you know, right next to him a rock will materialize. You know, it's kind of annoying. Again, it's probably just because the game has been constantly updated in terms of graphics, and they had to make changements. They had to make changements due to gameplay and, you know, the actual engine itself. So this probably wasn't, you know, exactly what they had in mind, but there's just pop in texture a lot. It does happen a lot during cutscenes and in normal gameplay too. It kind of sucks, but outside of that, the actual game just plays well. It's fun to play. Anyone can play it, whether you're just a hardcore person or, you know, just a casual shooter fan. So, you know, something else I want to mention is this game is tactical. Very tactical. In fact, it's like 3 shots, you're down tactical. That might turn off a lot of people. You know, some casual people definitely who just want to go and have a good time. This isn't the game when you can run and gun. They allow you to do that at some parts and really have some good time, but 90% of the time, you're going to be there taking cover the whole time. Alright, and it's just that, you know, it's meant to be tactical. You can tell right away that they wanted this to be a tactical shooting game, where it wouldn't be holding your hand. You'd have to actually think about different combat scenarios and what you would actually do. There's certain points in the game where it tells you you cannot alert the, or you cannot be, you know, found, or you cannot, there's no alert allowed. You know, basically you cannot shoot anyone. You have to just be there, go in there stealthily, and that's pretty cool because it mixes up the gameplay and adds out a certain challenge. And those were my favorite parts because, you know, I'm a stealth guy. I really love stealth. But as far as action goes, you know, it's just, it excels, you know, at the same point as it does with the stealth missions. It does really good job equally balancing stealth and combat, and doing it very well and stylishly, I would like to say. So overall, you know, Future Soldier is just a great game. Alright, do I think you should buy it for its campaign? Yeah, wait till a price drop. I was gonna say yeah, get it right away, but I'd say wait till the game's like $45, $40, $50, you know, even. I mean, I don't know. I'm a campaign person. I like games for their campaign. I prefer a really awesome campaign over a really strong multiplayer. That's just me. I just like playing by myself. I like being having a story told to me that's really interesting and that's really emotional and that's really just gripping. And I'm not really a big social person when it comes to multiplayer. I'm telling you right now, like 95% of the time when I play multiplayer, it's by myself. Alright, and it's not because I or my friends, you know, don't have the game. It's just what I prefer. You know, sometimes I'll jump into a game with my friends if I want to, but you know, 95% of the time I play games by myself, and I always play games for the campaign. So, but as a campaign, this game's good. Multiplayers, some people are gonna like it, some people aren't. It's just a very mixed feeling. I personally, I want to get into it, but I'm just not completely feeling it, but I want to get into it, and I have gone back to it a couple times, so, you know, who knows. But it's really cool. You can do four player co-op throughout the whole campaign. They allow you to do that, and it is a blast. I'm sure it's even more of a blast with your friends. So, that's it. Ghost Recon Future Soldier, I'm going to rate... I'm going to rate an 8.5. On Ghost Recon Future Soldier, because it's a really good game, and it's something that definitely shouldn't be overlooked. You know, if you want a really good shooting game, a third-person shooter that's gonna have a good campaign, that's gonna have some, you know, cool multiplayer options, that's gonna have some customization and so on and so forth, buy this game. If you're looking for more of a game that's fun and not so serious, this isn't gonna be for you. If you're just looking for a good game all around, get this game. All right, definitely. That's it. 8.5, and it's a good game overall. I think you should get it. Bye.